What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisor.com, bringing on the bacon. NFL DFS video. It is Saturday. It is Saturday afternoon Showdown Breakdown Edition. So we've only got this on DraftKings and FanDuel. It is not on Yahoo for whatever reason. So what we're going to do is, if you've never been here before, welcome to the channel first off. Secondly, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video, because any of these Showdown videos, if these videos get at least 50 likes, you are a YouTube subscriber, and you've left a comment for the comment picker to pick you up, you will have a chance to win a free week of FTA+. That is a week of all fantasy sports that we offer. If this video gets at least 100 likes, you have a chance at a free month, 150 likes, a free year, 200 or more likes on this video, a chance at a $500 lifetime pass. Now, that being said, we're breaking down the Showdown for Saturday afternoon. We've already got the breakdown coming for the 3-game slate on Saturday. We'll have a Sunday main slate breakdown. We'll have a Sunday Night Football breakdown and a Monday Night Football breakdown to finish off the last Monday night of the 2024 season, which is already wild that we are here. So, last time we've been here, we broke down the Christmas slate. You guys loved it. Then I was sick from Christmas Eve until today, so we did not have a Thursday Night Football Showdown breakdown, which is great because that was an ugly game. My problem is we do have a little bit of rain here in Cincy in this game, but we're going to cover it for you. So what we're going to do is, if you've never been to one of these videos, we're going to break statistics down from last season up until Thursday Night Football Showdown breakdown from yesterday. We're going to look at the stats. We're going to look at the players that make sense in the captain spot. We're going to look at the Vegas odds. We're going to look at the stack options. And then we're going to build some lineups. So probably 3 lineups on DraftKings, 3 lineups on FanDuel, most likely is what we'll do. We are going to use our matchup tool, which is a completely free tool. If you go to the NFL tab and go to matchup tool, you will find this here. I've already filtered it down to just these 2 teams, and we will go from there. So that being said, let's buckle up. Stick around towards the end, because we are going to have... normally our yearly pass for FTA Plus is $199, but stick around and see how you can get it for $75 for a full year, and you get an additional month added on top of that. So stick around for that. We are going to talk about the Vegas odds real quick. So currently, as I'm making in this video, it has a 50 over under. It started at 48.5. The Bengals are only 3-point favorite, and we know that their defense has been pretty bad, so this game could be a shootout. We've got the Bengals as an implied team total of 25.94. We've got the Broncos as a 24.38. T. Higgins questionable. I fully expect him to play. I would be surprised if he misses it. Back-to-back games, the targets have been there. The touchdowns have been there. 19.8 fantasy points have been there for us. So again, rain is a little bit of concern. Let's go over statistics from last year up until this year. So 84% of the winning lineups have contained at least one quarterback. I think we could get both quarterbacks in a lineup here. I think that completely makes sense. Only 6% of the winning lineups use all $50,000 in salary on DraftKings. Only 16% of the winning lineups had a $200 player or less. If T. Higgins is out, maybe something opens up. But other than that, I don't see a $200 player making any sort of impact on this game, so we'll stay away from that. 84% of the winning lineups had a $4,000 player or less, so I am okay with that. So maybe the Broncos defense, maybe Khalil Herbert, Franklin. You can look at Troy Franklin here. Game log-wise, his targets have been there, touchdowns have not been there. Hasn't done a ton, but he's good for 1 or 2 catches a game. If he could turn that into touchdowns, that would be great. Gesicki makes sense. Troutman makes sense. Drew Sample makes sense. Some of these do make sense, but I don't know how far down we'll go. Average salary used on DraftKings, $47,500, so $2,500 left on the table is completely fine. Then we look at stacks. A 4-2 stack has won at 44% of the time. Now, with these teams, a 3-point spread, it really could be either team. There's no huge advantage at the moment. Weather might play a factor. That's what scares me a little bit. 3-3 stack is won at 36% of the time, and a 5-1 stack is only won at 21% of the time. But let's break down the captain or MVP spot depending on which lineup you're on. 39% of the time, a captain or MVP spot went to a wide receiver. So obviously Jamar Chase makes a ton of sense. Very expensive. He's 17-1 compared to 15-9 for Burrow, or T. Higgins at 14-7. So if Higgins is in and the questionable tag goes away, could be a little bit of value, almost huge value there. Running back has been 28% of the time. So looking at both of these times, obviously Chase Brown makes the most sense, number one. And then it just depends. Denver's got so many running back by committee backs that you don't know if it's going to be Javonte Williams, if it's going to be Esteem. It just really depends on who it's going to be. A quarterback has been the winning MVP or captain spot 17% of the time. So Joe Burrow makes sense. Bo Nix makes sense as well. Tight end has only been in the captain spot 7% of the time. I don't see that happening in this one. I don't trust them enough there. Defense 7% of the time. Again, like the game on Thursday night. Defense wins championships in that. The problem, rain being in this game, maybe we see that. Maybe we do see a defense there. And then a kicker only 2% of the time. And we saw that game on Thursday night. 3 total field goals, 2 from Seattle. That was it. I don't think a kicker takes it down, especially in the MVP spot. Maybe you do put them in the flex. MVP spot, I don't really think so in this one. So let's build some lineups. I think the most expensive guy everyone's going to be on is Jamar Chase in the captain spot. But let's change it up a little bit. Let's put Joe Burrow in there. Let's put Joe Cool in there. Let's have him throwing it to Jamar Chase because that makes sense. Let's also get other Chase in there, Chase Brown. So we've got our Cincy guys there. Let's put in a little bit of, and you guys know it, and it was last time, Marvin Mims Jr. I was all over him last week. 5 targets, 62 yards. Does get a little bit of the running attempts. Didn't get a touchdown, but still got 9.5, which is perfect at his price. He's 4,800. I still think he makes a little bit of sense. Now we're at 3,800. This is where it gets a little creative. I still like Yoshevich here. Where's he at? 4,400. Game logs, the targets have been there. He had a touchdown there. He had 53 yards. Then he did have a bad game against Tennessee, but against Dallas, he had a good game, 35 yards there and a touchdown. He makes sense. He is a more expensive option. Now we're at 3,300. So now we got to get a little creative. Do we want to go Denver? Do we want to go Cincy? You got Mike Gesicki here. Gesicki's been up and down. Not a huge boomer bust type guy here. You got Troutman here. Troutman did have a touchdown last week. No, the week before he had a touchdown. Last week, 1 target, 5 yards, nothing. That's where it's going to get crazy. But what Denver needs is dump-off passes, especially if the weather is bad. So I am okay with this one. This is a 4-2 stack Cincy, and I am completely okay with this one, with Burrow being the captain spot, MVP spot, depending on which site you're on. It doesn't matter to me there. I think everyone's going to be on Jamar Chase, which makes sense. He is obviously one of the best guys this year. Let's take a look if we can even build one around him that makes sense. Now, again, this is early. Some players might be ruled out of nowhere that we're not even thinking about. But if you got Chase in there, obviously Burrow's got to get those double points by throwing it and him catching it. So we've got those 2 there. Let's put in a kicker. I'm going to go Will Lutz because let's say since he is up big and Denver just goes down the field and kicks it, he makes sense. So 5,700. So you come down here. You got Vele, 2 for 3, 21 yards. He did have a touchdown last week. It's 5,600. But it's been very boomer bust for him. Again, though, that's the kind of lineup we're building, boomer bust lineups. Marvin Mims makes sense. I'm going to get him in there. Can we get Bo Nix in there too? We're at 2,700. We're looking at Drew Sample, Watson. So I did have Sample last week a little bit. 12 yards. Didn't do a ton. Lil Jordan Humphrey hasn't done anything. Come down here. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else. It's Drew Sample. Blake Watson's not really going to do it for us. Did something last week, but that's about it. Lucas Kroll for Denver, tight end. Again, they have so many tight ends. But he's been getting some targets over the last 3 games. And he could be a sneaky one where he's 1,600. He's under that 4K, not quite the 200. We've left 1,100 on the table. So we've got Bo Nix. So this is a flip side. We got Bo Nix, or we could get rid of Lutz. We've got 6,300 now. We could go, no. McLaughlin. You look at, hasn't done much. Vele. I'll go Vele here. So 4-2 stack Denver, you've got Bo Nix throwing it to Kroll, Mims, and Vele, and then you've got Joe Burrow throwing it to Jamar Chase. Now, let's build one more DraftKings lineup. Where do we want to go? But we can use our matchup tool. Now, this is the tool, completely free tool. You can check it out. So here's how you read this tool. These are the defenses. These are the stats given up to each position. So this is quarterback. You can see Cincy against the quarterback ranks 27th out of 32, giving up an average of 20.9, where Denver's defense has been pretty good against the quarterback. Against the running back, they're pretty damn close, 23.9 to 23.3. So both are very close. These are the DraftKings fantasy points given up. These are the FanDuel fantasy points given up. Wide receiver, their secondary's been pretty good, still giving up both 32 fantasy points per game. So the rankings are different just because they are there, but there's other teams tied at 32. And then tight end. The Bengals are the worst team this year against the tight end, giving up an average of 17. So that does open up some Denver tight ends. Whether or not who it's going to be, that's where we don't have it broken down enough. So if you do look at that, quarterback-wise, Bengals. So I want to get Bo Nix in there. Let's see what a Bo Nix MVP spot looks like, or superstar, or captain, whichever site you're playing on. So Bo Nix at 14.4. We've got him there. I've got Burrow also, Chase there, Bo Nix. Who's he going to throw it to? I want to get a little bit of Franklin the Turtle in there. We're at 5,100 the rest of the way. So two spots, 5,100. Marvin Mims we could look at. We could look at Yoshevich, whatever. We could look at Gesicki, Troutman. Again, since he's very bad against the tight end, I'm looking at Troutman. Now we're at 7,400. We're looking at Javonte Williams, Audric Estime. Touchdown last week, 48 yards. Again, there's so many running backs that they could give it to. That's what scares me. But you go back to the matchup tool. How is Cincy against the running back? 23.9. They're very close. So there's not like up and down there. We have not talked about Cortland Sutton being in there with Bo Nix. That is true. So if we took out Chase, we put in Sutton. We were 9,400 for that. So Bo Nix. So Cincy would make sense, depending. You could look at a Yoshevich, but then you've left 5,000 on the table. So that is where it gets a little wild. So if we do that, we put in T. Higgins if he plays. We're at 3,000. We've gone down. We can go Mike Gesicki. We can go Drew Sample. Let's go Gesicki. We are at a 3-3 stack. You got Joe Burrow throwing it to Higgins and Gesicki. You got Bo Nix as the captain spot, throwing to Sutton and Troutman. This one's actually pretty okay. As long as Gesicki could get back to kind of who he was in the past, maybe get a touchdown here, give us a free tutty there, I don't mind that one. It's a great lineup. Again, this is DraftKings only. We are going to look at FanDuel real quick. And then after this, depending on when you watch this video, the breakdown for the 3-game main slate, the 3-game Saturday slate might already be out there. So DraftKings is done. Moving to FanDuel. Here's the difference in FanDuel. One less spot, $10,000 in salary more. Where can we go with this? Jamar Chase at the top makes sense. Very expensive. You got Joe Cool throwing it to him. Makes sense. You got Chase Brown. I think I want Vele in here, a cheaper-ish option. The pricing's a little bit different. Now we're at 7,500. Will Khalil Herbert do anything? Has he done anything since getting traded here? Really hasn't, which is wild. They traded for him and they don't utilize him. You got McLaughlin. You got Lucas Kroll. You got Troy Franklin. You got... Where are we going? I'm probably off of Herbert. Franklin a little bit. McLaughlin makes a little bit of sense. Come down here, you got Troutman. I like Troutman. I think he's got a great matchup there. Left 1,500 on the table. I'm okay with that one. So that's one lineup. Another lineup looking at who we want for MVP. Let's take a look at Bo Nix. We've already talked about him. But we're going to go Bo Nix there at the top. I think we get Joe Burrow in there. I think we put in T. Higgins instead of Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase still probably going to have a good game, but let's get Cortland Sutton in there. So now we're at 7,000. Kroll, Franklin, Troutman, depending on where you want to go here. Depending on who is the tight end, tight end one. Let's go. I'm going to look real quick. So I've got Denver. I'm very curious, the depth chart, who they have as tight end one. I'm assuming it's Troutman. Yeah, so it goes Troutman, Kroll, and Adkins. Adkins we really haven't talked about. If you look at him game log wise, 2 targets last week, 18 yards. He did have a touchdown in week versus Indy there, only 1 target. The yards are he's very touchdown dependent. So could he get one? Yes, he could. Will he? It's tough. Kroll, on the other hand, you look at your game log wise, 3 receptions, 21 yards, nothing. No touchdown there. He's not got a touchdown there. So Troutman makes sense, but he's the lowest priced guy out of the tight ends, which makes no sense to me. So that's why I want to take advantage. Maybe FanDuel knows something, because as you guys know, the NFL is rigged if you read on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. So that's lineup number 2. You got Bo Nix throwing it to Sutton and Troutman. You got Joe Burrow throwing it to Higgins. And then let's take out our thinking caps outside of the box. Everyone's going to be on Jamar Chase, okay? T. Higgins is there for a cap MVP spot at 12.5. But what could we do if we look at Sutton? Sutton, 12-1. You got Bo Nix throwing it to Sutton. You've got Joe Burrow. Could we get in Jamar Chase? No, we can't. Okay, we can't get in Chase. We're at 9,700 for 2 spots here. So, go down a little bit. You want a kicker? Cade York against Denver? Let's put a kicker. Now we're at 10.5. We've got Javonte Williams, Joshevich, McGlaw. It depends. Joshevich here. He had 3 of 3 for a touchdown last week. Then he had a touchdown the week before. It's very up and down. But if Jamar Chase misses, this could be a sneaky one there. So that is our 3rd lineup for FanDuel. We've already done the DraftKings one, and that is what we've got for you for the showdown. There are obviously other plays to look at, but there are certain ones that we don't mind. If you've never been to our Discord, it's completely free Discord down below. Make sure you check that out. A ton of content going out for you guys. But here's what I said at the end. And if you've watched our NBA video, you already know. This weekend only, if you email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp, the number 1 at gmail.com. And the subject line, I want a year pass or something like that. Instead of $199, you guys can send me either PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App, $75. We will get you a yearly pass onto your account. If you already have an account, we'll just give you a yearly pass. If you need one set up, we'll set you up on the website. We'll get you set up with a username, email, password, and your yearly pass for you. But not only that, we're going to add an extra month. So anyone who signs up this way gets a 13-month yearly pass for $75 instead of $199 for 12 months. Anyone who emails me this weekend, that is what we're going to do. Secondly, anyone who does have a pass, every year, and if you've been with us, if you were with us last year, at this time last year, you know, in January, my wife's company pays for a trip. This year, it's another cruise, which I'm not a huge fan of cruises. I like Tom Cruise movies, but I don't like cruises as much. This is a 7-day cruise, which is a very long time to be on a cruise. Never been on a Virgin cruise. I've only been on Carnival, so we'll see the difference. It's a no kids cruise, which is heaven, sounds like. But next Friday will be the last day I have videos and content for you. So Friday the 3rd, we fly out the 3rd, we come back the 12th, and then the 13th will be where we have content. So hopefully the YouTube algorithm doesn't screw us over, because I know when channels don't have content for a while, it screws up the algorithm. 10 days is a very long time. So I might do a couple of, just like the videos that we do on It's the History Of, but do it on this channel and have it upload maybe once a day, just so the algorithm, the YouTube gods don't screw it up. So if you guys could watch those, that would be awesome. But here's what we're going to do. Anyone who has FTA Plus, because I don't know how the internet's going to be on the cruise. I have no idea how the internet's going to be. I'm probably going to take my laptop just in case, but I don't know how it's going to be. So I don't want to guarantee that we have content. So what I'm going to do is anyone who has an active subscription, once that subscription is up and I'm back in the country, I will give 10 days free for you guys. I will just add 10 days to your passes. Since I'm the only one working on this website, basically, that admin, we're going to add 10 days to the end of your subscription, just to kind of be like, sorry, I'm out. But every year in January, it's going to be basically 7 to 10 days that I'm off. It's the only time really that I take time off from you guys, except if I'm sick. Even if I'm sick, I'm still doing content. I'm just not putting videos out, and you guys know that. So be in the Discord. It's completely free Discord. If you guys are interested in that yearly pass, email us, dfshelp1@gmail.com. Get it for $75 this weekend only. After that, it is $199. I will have a banner up on the website saying I'm out of the country, no content from this day to this day. We'll add blah, 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 whatever it needs to be. So that is this. That is the breakdown of the showdown. Make sure you check out the NBA content that we've got out there. Make sure you check out the breakdown of the Saturday main slate as well. Good luck to everybody out there, whether or not you're sports betting, whether or not you're playing DFS, whether or not you're just having a great time. I am done with this video. Good luck today, tomorrow, and the future. And let's bring home some bacon. Peace.